Tom, you look like you're frozen. No, you've
Oh,
not.
am I? Well, I'm. It's probably
The
just
intense typing
okay.
face. Hello, everyone. You are watching Flight Sim Weekly. Welcome to the YouTube stream. I've broken it already. This is just like me messing with tech. Welcome, stream. Welcome. Hello, Dyer. Hello, BD47. Just waiting for a few seconds so Tom can get everything sorted. Oh, everything under sun is pinging me on Discord. Oh, it's just everyone saying they're live. Right. I don't think I've broken anything this week. I actually haven't broken anything. So, I think just to give it a second, just smile and wave for me, Tom. Just smile and wave. Tom, I've been making that joke for like 5 minutes now, and it's concerning. Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Flight Sim Weekly, the 2nd of May, 2021. We're doing a bit off the cuff this week. We are just going for it. But this week we're planning to discuss what goes too far on vaccine frequency. We're going to discuss how much is overpriced for a scenery. And Tom has got some big news for you at the end of this week's podcast.
I hope it.
You hope?
Yeah, I do. I guess. I hope it lives up to the
hype.
There's no hype around this, but
And as well, we
stuff.
have a special guest. Tom, take us away.
Okay, so tonight we are joined by a fellow Twitch streamer, by the name of Moto, aka Moto. So he's been streaming on Twitch for a little while, amassed about just over 3,500 followers, and he is known as the dog of Flight Sim, or the flying dog.
You can tell I do the planning for guests, can't you?
Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
So for those who can't see on the podcast,
thank you for having me on.
For those who can't see, there is a dog on the screen, and Tom is very intrigued by this dog. Do you want to take it away, Tom? Because there's lots of questions I know you're dying to ask.
Well, it's a foreign concept to me. So I've seen you around and stuff, but I don't really know you that well. So who are you, basically, is my first question, I guess. In a sentence or two, or whatever.
Who am I? Okay, yeah. So my real name's Chris. As most people know me as Moto or Motosuwa. I've been on the Twitch community side of things for quite a few years, but mainly streaming just odd things with friends. Nothing serious, nothing crazy. Last lockdown, I've been into flight sims, streaming it because I kind of thought, well, who the hell's going to want to watch clouds go by for hours while I'm doing a flight? Last lockdown came along, and I went, you know what, let's give it a go, and it kicked off, and it's insane. I still don't understand how it kind of got as popular as it did, but it's getting there, which is amazing. I love it.
Awesome. So you've been streaming since, was that the start of lockdown or before lockdown?
Last lockdown, so about just over a year now. Literally about a year and 1 month, so 13 months.
So it's going pretty well for a year. That's
absolutely
not bad.
Absolutely, I'm absolutely adoring it.
And where did the inspiration to do the whole thing as a virtual dog come from?
So when I was doing other streams and playing other games and stuff, it's I had this program called Face Rig, and I always use that. I'm not a big fan of the whole face cam. Just not a big fan.
I can understand that.
Fair. Yeah, everyone's not. It's cup of tea, isn't it, for everyone? So, and then I when I started doing flight sim stuff, I still didn't use the doggo or anything, and I literally looked through Steam one day and I completely forgot I had the software, and I thought, for a laugh, I'll boot it up and that's it. It's become a thing. I did it for a good couple of months. Then I decided to do actual face cam for streams, and people just like, it's been recently whole rebranded. My emotes, my avatar, everything. It's all rebranded around just the flying doggo, and it's nice going in other people's
Nice.
channels and like saying, hey, watching people's streams, and everyone's like, oh, it's the flying doggo. It's like, this is kind of cool. I like
Yeah.
it, and you don't see it anywhere or hear it anywhere else. It's pretty funky. It's surreal.
Nice.
It's very surreal.
So, are you just a fan of dogs, or do you have a dog in real life, or is it just a bit random?
So I love all animals.
I'm a cat man,
I
I'm
seriously
afraid.
do love all
Sorry.
animals. No, man, absolutely. I love cats. I love dogs. I did have two doggos. They're both ex-military. One
Okay.
was a police dog. One was an explosive search dog. I worked with military dogs for 7 years prior, you see. But I
Yeah.
love animals, and I do love doggos. So I've always loved dogs, and I always will do. And yeah, the face rig actually started off as a panda, and then we were just messing around with it on the first stream using the face rig stuff, and the doggo hit, and everyone was like, "That's it, that's the one."
Okay.
And we put a top hat on it, and that's how we
I've
are
got to
today.
admit, when I
Literally is.
my dog and me, you've obviously had a very fortunate relationship with dogs on stream. My dog and I have a dog called Jake, and I think your internet might be messing up just a bit. I've just got to say, but my dog called Jake, he's a lovely dog, but he's so camera shy. And have you ever shown your dogs on stream before? When any of your animals?
Yes. Well, unfortunately, I don't have them anymore. We lost one, and the other one, my ex took, unfortunately. But no, I've shown photos. I have shown photos of them, and I love them to bits. I still do. The police one was he was an 8-stone shepherd, and he was an absolute unit. And the other one was I don't know if many people know what a Malinois is. Belgian Shepherd. She was beautiful. She was absolutely beautiful. But no, I often share photos of my my old pets, and on my Discord as well. A lot of time in the IRL chat, it gets bombarded with people's cats, dogs, pets, lizards, all sorts of stuff. It's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's pretty cool.
Sorry, I have simultaneously broken my face.
Sorry, that was Alex.
I have broken my face. This is official. So, what would you say, since you've started Flight Sim streaming, is the most interesting thing you've had the opportunity to get involved in doing? Apart from being a
That's
dog.
a tough one. The most recent biggest milestone for me and my channel is being partnered with Threshold, Orbex, Sim Toolkit Pro, and Origami Studio. That was just huge. That's absolutely massive on my end.
Origami are lovely folks, honestly.
But for me,
you had Delaney on
the
other week.
God, I love Delta. Absolutely, I adore Delta. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. But for me, it's not so much about the stream per se. I know that sounds really pompous or whatever, but and this is going to sound like a really cliche thing to say. The main premise of my channel and everything that I'm doing is to create basically just a community where people can enjoy aviation, who love aviation, can just chill, and we just literally have a laugh. That's it. There's absolutely next to no professionalism in any of the streams. I barely know what I'm doing most of the time. How I get to A and B is just nothing but a miracle. And if I get a new plane that I've never flown before, like I think it was my last stream, I took the no, it was one prior, but I got the 737-200, I believe it was.
That does sound a nightmare to fly, to be honest.
Let's try and get from A to B. And it's just literally the premise of having a laugh. People that love aviation. It's
Sorry, you
beautiful.
just
though.
cut out. You
Flight
just cut
Jason's did
out
such an
there for a
amazing job in it.
second.
My favorite is the 727. Absolute treat. She tries to kill me every time I fly it, but I
Sorry,
think.
what was that? You just cut out there. Yeah.
Oh, did I? I apologize. There's about 9 people probably on internet in this house right now. I'm sorry, guys. Hello.
We've got you.
me?
We've got you. The dog is lagging slightly. I can
Have
hear
you
you.
lost me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry, everyone. I do apologize. Yeah, there's about 9 people on the internet in this house.
Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear
I hear
you.
you guys.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Hello. You got me?
Yes, we've got you. Yes. So we have. Glad
Okay.
you.
I forgot what I said. I lost.
You've talked about flying. I think it's the Fly JSIM 737.
I apologize. And the 727 is my favorite by far. That's a beautiful piece of kit. That is.
How do you
Yeah.
find flying a classic?
So you're more of a Boeing person?
Sorry.
Hello.
All the audio is dying today. Right. Firstly, dare I say it about the sync? We can't sort the sync out now. We can. I've tried everything. It seems like Moto's having some internet issues at the time. Hello, Moto.
Hello. Yep, I'm
We
here.
might need to get Gloria on the case to fix the internet. I'm sorry. That was a horrible joke. Tom looks like he just wants to find me.
It's all right.
We're just gonna. We'll be back in a second.
We're back on track now.
Moto will be back in a second. We'll be back with Moto or hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
You got me back. You got me back.
Hello.
Looks like there's a bit of a delay. Hang on.
Right, so we'll join Moto again in just a second. He's just looking like he's having some internet problems, but it's okay. We'll be back with him in just a bit. Tom, have you?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just enjoying my
Are
lovely
you
cup of tea.
flexing that Ripley branded merch?
Yeah, I am, but I didn't get a chance to drink it before I came on, so I'm just having it now. Yeah. Ripley.live/shop, by the way. Oh no, /merch.
Sell
Same
out.
thing, right? Yes.
Is it as good as the squashshop.com?
Not quite.
No.
Not quite. But
Moto will be back in a second, but we have got some other things that we wanted to talk about this week. Firstly, I'm not sure. Should we do quick bits or should we do one of our topics? I don't know. Temptation.
I mean, I guess we should do a quick bit in case we're not waiting
we'll just go
so
with it.
long.
So, quick bits this week. Lots of new airports this week. One that looked particularly interesting to me was Biarritz in the south coast of France has been released by Flightbeam. It's been developed by their partner Dreamflight Studios, who've also developed Teterboro. And I'll tell you what, the one thing I really like about Flightbeam sceneries is they all tend to be really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. And very good value as well. I think they did a sale sometime over Christmas, which was 50% off, and it was $15 each, which is like £12 or something, and that's on par with like an Allback sale. And combine it with the points you get when you buy bundles of them.
Amazing.
Yeah, or when you leave a review. I don't know if that's like illegal, like giving people money for like leaving reviews, but I'm not going to complain because like yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought Denver for like $5, and I got a $10 discount just from buying 2 products or something, and I bought them on sale anyway, so it was like I spent like $40.
I swear the only reason I bought all of the like
like $35. $35 for like 3
the only
scenes.
reason I
That's
bought
pretty good deal. And they are
the
good
only
quality
reason I
and good
bought
on
all the
frames.
Flightbeam is because of the points, because they are just that good. But one thing Flightbeam have also been up to this week is they have been up to more previews of Auckland. Auckland is like the thing that's just been lurking over the flight sim community for ages now, hasn't it? It's been there, but not quite. I think it's fair to say.
I mean, I'm not Auckland's biggest fans. I haven't really been. Haven't really noticed that void.
Have you
I'm
not
not
been
gonna
flying
lie.
out down under that much?
Well, I do get told off about only flying in Europe by all of my. Well, a lot of my followers. When we are flying in the US or flying in Australia or New Zealand. Well, I don't think I've ever actually flown in New Zealand, so that's still one to come. But like, always flying to Europe. So yeah, it's just how I
Well,
sim.
and maybe you should try it all in X-Plane when you do your X-Plane stream eventually.
Soon.
Right, we are hearing some good words from our director about Moto's internet quality. Going to try again. We're trying. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, internet's on my end. It's fine. I'm not sure. I've loaded the bit rate a little bit on the doggo, see if that helps.
I mean, it looks like it's doing better now. It does. So previously we were
That will
talking about the
help.
Flying
I'm not sure.
J Sim 727, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just literally just stating that you're on about the 73200, and I'm just stating that the 72 is by far my favorite for X-Plane. It's not biased or anything. I just love it. Every time I fly it attempts to kill me multiple times, but it's a forgive and go at the same time. Like, it's just so good, so good.
I mean, if you're not having near virtual death experiences when you're flying, you're really flying correctly. Like, it's what I pride myself on, really.
Oh,
Absolutely, it's the best way.
Yeah, so honestly,
Yeah.
I'm still
It's a
tortured by
disease to know too
people
much.
for my landing into Dubai once upon a time. When the gear raised itself, this was not my fault, but it happened, and people will never let me forget that. They,
Wait. How does the gear just raise itself?
it was a rogue
Explain that one.
keybind. So we were talking about before the stream as well. This dog has many possibilities. It does not just have to be a dog. So the technicals of a dog. So do you have to set up your room? Do you have like a green screen? How do you actually do it physically? Because it's not like NVIDIA broadcast where you can just throw a background. It's just like, I'm guessing there's a lot of stuff.
No, it is exactly that. No, it's exactly that. So it's this application called Animes on Steam. I used to use something called Face Rig. They are going to be stopped developing that by the end of this year, and they'll be going fully on Animes. And it's literally just a software, and all you need is a webcam. That's it. And it just tracks your face. And as you can see, if I turn my head left and right, up and down, if I blink, it tracks everything, and obviously you can see the mouth moving, etc. And it's a fantastic bit of kit, and you can really have such a laugh with it, to the point where it almost breaks. So you can go big head doggo, you can go tiny head doggo, you can change the colors, you can change
you make
props,
the tail
you
wag?
can change backgrounds. You want the tail? Yeah, absolutely. So you can go for a tail wag, and all sorts. Just if stuff goes really wrong, you can just set it on fire. And yeah, it's such a laugh.
And the thing is, would you ever consider being another animal? I can just see Tom's face.
Not now. I can't now. I can't.
Sorry, I'm just laughing a little bit. But
Well, another one that so what it was originally. So I can load this up very quickly. So what it was originally was the panda, which is basically, I don't know if this is going to come through for you guys. I hope that it will.
It looks more like a panda than it.
This is what. Yeah, it's like a red panda. And this is what it kind of was originally. But then you've got some, when I say horrendous things, there. I mean, you can even be an eggplant if you wanted to. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because it's just wrong on multiple levels. But you could be a toilet. It's a great bit of kit. It really is. And like, you know, if this updates, there you go. All right, so you know the flying Lou.
You've seen it here first in Flight Sim Weekly, everyone. talking toilet.
And you could do so many cool different things. You could just have like, I was going to do the aviator cap, as you can see here, the aviation's cap, but I decided not to. And it went with the top hat. So we
Now,
start
has
with the top
anyone
hat.
come into your stream
And
and
you
asked
can
you
do
to
some
bark on
emotes and stuff.
stream before?
Yep. Every time, every single time I get, they'll come in and they'll put in chat and be like, a woof. And I'll be like, a woof. Which has also become a bit of a staple of the channel.
Like,
Yeah. It's a bit weird
I'll
when
tell
you
you what,
really think
I
about
was
it.
just
but
thinking it must be
it is
very
what it is.
weird having all these like you've actually got a lot of really good stuff like your stuff for Threshold and your Orbeck stuff, like and then you're a dog at the same time. It's like they're like just two worlds collide.
It's a lot. It's one of those things where you walk into a room, you look around, and you go, "I have a lot of questions, but not enough time."
So in terms of the channel, in terms of your channel, so you said you've been streaming for about a year now. I swear everyone on Twitch at the moment has been streaming for about a year. I'm just going to point that out right now. I think we all have.
You're making me feel
And
old.
Tom has been around forever.
Lockdown, lockdown became a big
Wow.
thing. I mean, I know, for example, someone like Eberster and Sam,
Yeah.
and other people like himself, they all started in lockdown. It is, I know for them, it's to keep their brains active. Obviously, still flying without flying, sort of thing. And that's the great
Yeah.
thing about flight simulation. It's come that far where real pilots can actually use it to keep their brains still on top of things. It's insane and it's fantastic. But I flew gliders. For a while before I streamed, but I unfortunately, due to health conditions, my old ticker's not the best, and I'm never allowed to get my solo, so that got stopped. And what's the next best thing? Well, flight sims. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, and I adore it. I love every one of my streams. It's a laugh, it's a hoot, and we have a good time. That's it. There's no because you're gonna get people like obviously without how can I put it? So you're going to have different categories on the flight sim streaming side of things where you're going to have real pilots talking about real things and real procedures and that stuff, which is fantastic. I love it. I absolutely adore it. People like obviously like Sam, obviously Katie Pilot, and then you've got Black Box. He was one of the very first channels I ever followed. Actually, I absolutely love them. But then you've got the funny side of things where people haven't got a clue, literally from start to finish. And I mean, I know I said that as a laugh, but they don't even know pretty much how to turn the plane on, which can be very funny as well, watching them trying to figure that out. Then you've got the kind of the in between where they kind of have an idea what's going on, but it most of the time just turns into a mess, either by the landing or something. I mean, I spent 45 minutes with the Beluga not that long ago, and I couldn't figure it out. I didn't turn the batteries on, and I just did not understand what was going on. It was simple as I just forgot to turn the batteries on, and we were there for 45 minutes. Me, chat were like, right, let's troubleshoot.
Oh, sorry, I just say that.
Well, yeah, I think it's been really interesting seeing the kind of turnover and the number of new people joining the scene on Twitch. Like, I don't check the Microsoft Flight Simulator page as much as I used to when I was getting started in like late 2018, 2019 times. But when you go on there, there's a lot of like new people, and a lot of people, where
So many.
I was months ago and a year ago or whatever, and it's just really interesting to see that I think it's probably a good thing that it's not dominated by the same people all the time. Obviously there's big streamers who will always be big, but there's a good variety of people that I'm pretty confident that anyone who's interested in flight sim could go on there and find someone who's a fit for them, and there's going to be constantly new people coming up and things are going to be moving around. And it's never going to be like a clear race and one winner. There's always going to be like some competition, I guess, which is good.
Absolutely, 100%, and it's such a thing. I mean, this is like I joined someone's channel not long ago, and they were very, very new to streaming flight sim stuff, and they got a little bit down because the numbers weren't there or whatever. And a message like I'm sure you guys can relate to as well, and everyone can, no matter who you are, everyone can do it. But just if you're just yourself, that's the key part that I found. Just be your crazy self, and that's what people want at the end of the day. I don't think many people out of everyone's viewership, if you've got 5 people watching or 500 people watching, most of them are going to be there for you, not the plane, because they can just watch that on YouTube and get a guide or a quick 5-minute guide on is the plane worth it or not. But it's a crazy thing, and it's like you said, there's so much variety from real life pilots to people that just haven't got a clue what a plane is. It's fantastic. I love it. I really do love it. It's just great.
I do apologise for the cockerels in the background. I swear this is the thing that only happens when I go live. Like, all day, it's been silent. They have been silent. And then about 5:30, they just started, and it was just like... Yeah.
Wait, can we? I don't think. I was hoping
You were hoping you had a cockerel.
Instead of a doggo, some sort of chicken. Yeah, like a chicken or something. But there's nothing on the sort.
I'll tell you what, you were saying to me that you started off on YouTube prior to Twitch, and that is actually similar to me.
Yeah.
In fact, on this channel right here, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. If you want to go and drop a subscription, like we are only 6 away. Yeah, I'm asking now, but like I've already made the 1K special. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, now you've said that, you've jinxed it, and everyone's
I
going
might
to subscribe, but
save the 1K special for like
the trolls.
be nice, people, be nice.
If any of my guys here, make sure you hit the subscribe buttons. Send the love.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, your raids, I love.
do.
You see, I think like YouTube isn't necessarily the best platform, stuff like this. Twitch has got better things for like community. So like when your guys come in and raid, when you raid me and you come in really supportive, we don't have raids at all on YouTube, and it's like, how have you found a difference?
That's it's for me the whole YouTube side of things. So I uploaded a load of random videos to YouTube, like the stuff I used to stream. Like we're talking Battlefield, COD, all sorts of stuff, and it's YouTube itself, the algorithm as well. It's disgusting. It really is. It is, in my opinion. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours editing. I spent days editing and all this sort of stuff to like produce some stuff or whatever. And I was getting better at it. And I was doing like, let's try some let's plays and all this stuff. And
Yeah,
it's
I think the thing is like
just disgusting. And
the quality of the video is not really as proportional to how much a video gets recommended. I mean, saying that from someone who doesn't get that many views anyway, probably sounds a bit like, oh, I wish I got more views because I'm so underrated. I'm not trying to be like that. Like, I make like lots of, sometimes on my video, I'll put like a lot of effort into a video and do like proper, like, you know, spend a few days editing it and getting it all right. And then that video will only get like 1/10 of the video where I just upload like literally just an unedited clip from my stream or whatever, and that'll get like loads more views. Like, I remember like a year ago, probably like 2 years ago now, I uploaded this video on AFV when AFV was just becoming a thing on VATSIM, and that got like 6,000 views or something. But I just pulled it because I rewatched it back and I was just like, this is such a terrible video, and I hate for people to see this when they click on it and they think, oh, you know, this is this guy, and they kind of get the wrong impression. And I wish it had just been one of my other videos, but the YouTube algorithm is
my
cruel.
most popular videos on this channel.
Even when I succeed, I
my
feel
most
sad.
popular videos on this channel. By the way, thank you for all the support. We are now 3 away from 1,000, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you for all the support.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I think.
Well, the funny thing is, sorry, Alex. I just want to just quickly illustrate on what Tom was saying just there. It's what I've done is I was very tempted. Well, I started uploading VODs and stuff to YouTube, and I just got bored of it. What I've started doing is each week I will go through clips that my chat have done, and I'll grab a load off, and I actually upload them to TikTok. I made an account just for my channel for TikTok, and they get more interaction. Well, not so much interaction, but they get more coverage is probably the better word there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know, it's
like
it's crazy.
I'm a bit of a TikTok convert. I hate to say that because I'm going to get bullied in my
viewers,
chat.
You've heard it now.
For saying that.
We're going TikTok famous, boys.
But like, I didn't used to be like someone who used TikTok, but now I can so easily lose 2 hours, 3 hours a day just
It's the
scrolling through.
worst
And the number of things
drug
I'll
known to
see
man.
is like so many. And I have actually found Twitch streamers on TikTok and followed them and stuff.
Yep.
But like,
Yep.
it's not something I thought about. I did actually start a TikTok and upload a couple of clips, but well, I
You
don't
see,
know why I gave up on it. I guess I just couldn't be bothered. I'm lazy, basically. But it is a very, very viable way. I think one of the things you realize when you stream on Twitch, perhaps not so much in flight sim, but in most categories, trying to grow on Twitch, just like you can only grow basically when you're live on Twitch, and you can't be streaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you know, the number of people you get following you offline is like nothing, and all the people following you offline will only be people who come from your YouTube, your TikTok, or whatever. So you just got to maximize that. A lot of people ask me about like how do I grow on Twitch, and
I've always
um,
found Twitch interesting.
I don't want to like I don't want to claim that this is my advice because you know I didn't make this or anything, but you know everyone, the bigger people always say, you know, look to other platforms because Twitch is a tough cookie to crack. You have to have a bit of luck.
No, God, it really is, and it's disgusting because the way I see uploading to YouTube or TikTok or anything like that, it's just coverage. That's all it is. It's pure coverage. And if a video on TikTok of a clip of mine on TikTok gets 10,000 views, for example,
Yeah,
as we all know, probably 3 will come over and maybe follow on Twitch.
yeah,
But it's just coverage. That's all it is, and it's one thing a lot of new people to Twitch don't understand is you can't just hit the start stream button and hope for the best. You have
And that's the
to
thing.
the Renegade.
so much work behind it, and
Yeah,
the
I mean-
craziest thing I had with coming over to streaming flight sim stuff is the prep. My God, like when I used to stream stuff like Battlefield, it's just load up the game, get the call with friends, hit stream. That's
why this podcast
yeah,
started.
and I think a lot of
Prep for
people
flight
have that
stream.
idea of streaming. A lot of people think
God.
you're just sitting there playing your favorite game and you're just gonna get famous or whatever. But you know, when you're playing a game on your own, you're not really having a conversation with anyone. You're just kind of enjoying yourself. And if someone was
Yeah.
sitting behind you watching while you're just, you know, on your Xbox or whatever, or just, you know, playing a game on your PC, like no one really wants to sit and watch you when they could be doing it themselves. You got to be adding something else that is actually worth it. And like I say to people, like I say to my friends and stuff when they're like, why should I watch, you know, why would people bother watching you stream on Twitch? I'm like, well, you know, if you take out what I am doing, or if you take out the flight sim, it's really just a chatting stream and the flight sim is just in the background.
It
So
really is.
and there's literally 50, 60, 70 people at any one time doing flight sim streams. Like if you wanted to watch a plane, like you don't have to watch me. I'm not unique in that regard. The only thing unique about me is me, and the only thing unique about you is you. And that is the only way that
You'll soon be in the elites who can control
you can
control radar in the UK on that sim, which.
Well, I've actually got my solo now, so I might stream that later tonight. Actually,
well, it's funny. It's funny you say about like the watching thing because what I tend to say to people that don't understand it is like when they say, "Wait, people watch you play a game," and they're like, "Why don't they just play it themselves?" And I turn to them and I always say this. I say, "Well, you sit there and watch people play football. Why don't you go play football?"
Yeah.
If I had to have that conversation with my dad again,
watching someone else. But that's it, and that's what I always say to them, and they end up going, oh, touche, and they're like, and I'm like, it's 50-50. People are there 50% for the person and 50% for the game sometimes, or for flight sim side of things, it's mainly for the person because obviously it's just cloud sim.
Well, yeah,
you know,
absolutely. A lot of people say to me like, "Oh,
crazy.
how can you sit there for 3 hours just, you know, sitting in the plane? You're not doing anything." And to an extent, I'm kind of like, well, you know, part of me will say, "Well, actually, I'm observing the plane and making sure it's flight." Yeah, okay, sure, I am kind of doing that, but not really. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
we're just having a chat basically, and that's it. Like you would watch like a talk show on TV or something. So why not watch it on Twitch if it's the right person? There's so many people to choose from, and there's a lot of people there. It's kind of similar to
it's
that.
like I said, yeah, you've got the variety of real pilots teaching the real procedures and stuff, which for me I find incredibly fascinating.
Yeah, Exactly.
the people that it's just having a laugh. You got the really funny ones. You got the ones that you just like as you be more of a friend. So you watch those to support. And the flight sim community is, in my eyes, incredible. Obviously, you're going to get always, no matter what situation you're in, you're always going to get a few, so to speak, bad eggs or ones that that you're just thinking, But 95% of it is incredible. I mean, all my mods, I love them to bits, and I'm not just saying that. And everyone in my community.
Well, we only spoke because of an accidental encounter
so
with one of your mods,
and it's
didn't we? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, literally it was. And I even met my girlfriend through Twitch and streaming.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. She's in
keeps
chat
my
now.
hopes up.
Crazy Norwegian Sheena.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah,
I
totally agree with
does
you.
scare me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the bad apples thing. Because I see so many people, like quitting or giving up because they have one bad interaction with one person in the community. I think it happens. Well, the specific one I was thinking of is I saw a thing on Reddit a few days ago about someone being a bit disgruntled about being on VATSIM because they'd had a bad experience on VATSIM.
Actually, we're going to talk about that as soon as I've
try and say everyone on VATSIM is a real person just like you, and anyone can sign up. So like, just because you found you got unlucky and you had a bad person, doesn't mean that the experience is all going to be so bad. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah,
well,
just
I can actually
agree with your point on how there's always going to be bad apples, basically.
Absolutely. And segueing a little bit with that with you is not that long ago, I decided about a month and nearly 2 months ago now, I think it is. I decided to never fly on VATSIM again. That has changed recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've had quite a few bad experiences with A2C on.
I can understand that.
I've
heard a lot of people saying that as well quite recently.
And I've always plugged it off and thinking, well, you just stuck up your own backside, but whatever. But the last one that had the bad experience is I was flying over Europe and no controllers anywhere around me, and I was getting battered by winds. Looked on the FMC and it said like the recommended flight level was this, so I thought, screw it, I'll change. So I changed flight level, and out of nowhere, about 20 minutes later, this ATC comes on. And it must have been about, I'm not saying it's a kid or whatever, but it must have been about 15 years old. It doesn't matter if you're 15 or if it was 30-year-old person. I don't care. But it was some 15-year-old kid comes on and starts proper having a go at me. How dare you change your flight level without ATC's permission, all this stuff. And I went on frequency, and me being British, I went to town on it.
Yeah.
I was just like, how dare you speak to me like this and all this stuff. I was polite, so to speak, but I was in a very British tone.
Stern talking to
the
pilot.
I signed off and I understood it there and then.
I think
exactly, and
I think specifically with the VATSIM, when you have like controllers and pilots, a lot of people understandably get the impression that the controller is always in charge, because kind of to an extent, like they should be, but like at the end of the day, like they're both, pilots and controllers, both VATSIM members, and a controller, just because they're a controller, doesn't have any right to like tell you off specifically. They can, if you're
Tom,
like,
you'll see this when you get more
downright
radar,
just not,
and you'll get busy.
Okay.
And I'm speaking purely. You try. One of the things that makes VATSIM controlling a lot more difficult than the real world is that you don't have that layer of professionalism there. You won't. And to an extent, every time you give an instruction, with some pilots, you are taking a gamble as to whether they will respond. And to be honest, this has mainly been an issue since Microsoft Flight Sim has launched. Like, I don't think it's a systematic VATSIM issue. I think it's the fact VATSIM has sort of attached itself to MSFS through the partner program. They've advertised themselves as the place to go to, which is great. I really like the new community. But some of the new pilots we've seen, well, I'll tell you this. I was on Heathrow Direct yesterday, off screen, like just chill controlling. I had a really nice stream, and then this of planes coming out. I had 5 in a row. It was really nice. And then this one pilot just tuned to the frequency, flying in from somewhere in Europe, and they just completely ignore everything. Like I'm not, but the thing is, I'm not just covering
Yeah.
Heathrow to exit. I was covering the airport top down. There is
Yeah, I think that's understandable, but like there's some people out there who just have the impression that some controllers who think that some controllers think all the pilots are out to get them, and it's just not a good attitude to have. You got to treat every new person as a new person, and don't let your irritation from one person carry on to the next person.
Yeah. I mean, the difficult part is, and I always say to like some of my guys in the community who are afraid of doing ATC, because going on to VATSIM or any network,
it is. I remember.
Yeah.
All that.
And it's
what I tend
especially
to say to
difficult when
them
some
is,
massive
if you're going to
egos
go
are
on there. Yes, but at the same time, I do say to them, I'm like, well, if it's your first time, make sure you're going somewhere that has control, yes, but a quiet airport. Don't go into Heathrow or JFK, because they're going to be busy.
Please follow that advice, please.
That's the fine line I find where... that's the fine line I say to them. It's just like, if this is your first time or even your 10th time, you're still learning, don't go into somewhere like JFK or Heathrow or something like that, because if the ATC's on, they're going to be speaking a million miles an hour, and they're not going to have time to hold your hand. Go somewhere that's quieter. Learn. That's what I say.
I will be honest, and I will say I probably wasn't. I wasn't.
You're laughing, and I feel like you want to pass that on to every person.
I know I wasn't particularly the best with some pilots a few months ago. I have calmed down a lot since I've started streaming with pilots. And the fact there's also been some VATSIM bureaucracy, which has also affected my thoughts, because telling a plane to keep moving is apparently against the code of conduct. That's another matter. I think one of the things people don't recognise is controllers aren't babysitters. Like, I think there has been recently an attitude amongst some people that controllers are there to guide them through babysit, teach them how to fly their plane, teach them how to do everything. Honestly, you will hear me if you watch me on Heathrow Director. You will see me. I will try and do everything I physically can to help a plane, but there will be times where I am too busy or I don't have the resource to help with everything.
Yeah, no, I have. I do link.
I
I'm
think
the king
sometimes
of
there is an assumption, and this is kind of like
no, and that's what I'm trying to. That's what I try and get across to my community.
And I will say this: I don't sometimes think controllers get a lot of backing from VATSIM, and I think sometimes. Sometimes there might be a place where I've got 20 aircraft on the ground. One plane is One plane is making it impossible to control anything else, and yet I've still got to go through about a 5-10 minute process, even if I get a supervisor straight away, just to make sure they've been given an opportunity, even though they've been told several times on the frequency to stop already. But I'm not saying controllers' words should be taken as gospel, because like you said, there are some people who have attitudes.
Gospel.
And heck, I one of the places I really enjoy reading is the VATSIM for Beginners Facebook group. And I like it because you see so many different people. Like, there was the other day, I helped a pilot who was doing the Compton 9 right at Heathrow. And they were struggling how to do it, and they posted on there. I explained everything after. But then I heard that pilot had an issue with another controller. And, like, you do wonder. Like, it is an issue from both sides. Some pilots are really taking the mick, but some controllers really take the mick with their attitudes as well. And I tone down a lot now because I do keep it in. There have been stages where people...
Absolutely. No, it is 100%.
Like, what happened to you over Germany is not acceptable. If I was in London, I would never think of doing that. I think Tom on radar wouldn't think of doing that.
No.
The whole...
Well, I think at the end of the day, we're all there just to enjoy ourselves. So
I mean, people think that...
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, we getting a bit of a delay or something.
It's a level. Like I said, it's a fine line between realism and it's a game. I'm
Yeah,
not too
it's
sure,
there. It
actually.
is there. Yeah.
You got me okay though, yeah?
There is a delay, but just speak over me when you hear me. Keep
I
going.
think there might be a little bit of delay. Yeah. Okay, so there's I think it's a fine line because it's a fine line between realism and a game. Yes, I'm going to say game because it's a game at the end of the day. Yes, it's a category of a simulator. That's the thing. But anyway, that's a different subject. But it people want to join a network like VATSIM, IVAO, etc. because they want that extra level of realism, and that's what they want. But at the same time, be it a controller or a pilot, there may be something they've not quite got, and it's a difficulty part of aspect of different people's software as well. So let's take headsets for example. They may not come through crystal clear to another pilot, or they may have a really crappy mic compared to someone else who has an amazing mic, so they come through crystal clear. That person may not come through crystal clear, and there could be just that slight delay or whatever, and those little things can add up to an issue, and that issue can be solved quite easily and simple most of the time by just being, from the controller side of the point of view, just saying direct to Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta, for example, instead of going direct to Abacada, and they're just like, sorry, I'm not quite understanding it. And then there's the pilot side of the thing of saying, I do it all the time. I'm not going to lie, I'm no pro. And I did a flight on IVO not too long ago, and I literally said, "I'm so sorry, I didn't understand that at all. Can I just get that? This is the bit I've got. Can I just get the last little bit?" And they'll read the last little bit, and that's it. And there's a fine line of using your bloody brain. So they've read all this. Okay, I've got 3 out of the 5. I've read the 3 back that I've got. Can you give me the last 2? And it's just a fine line of just using your brain.
Yeah, this is so true. I think there's so many people. There's a lot of controllers out there who it just sometimes feels like they're deliberately trying to make it hard, and there's make it hard, but it's just kind of a bit unreasonable at some point. If someone asks you to say it again slowly or clearly, or particularly when you have people where English isn't their first language and stuff, just trying to deliberately I don't know if their intentions are to deliberately piss people off, but it kind of comes across that way sometimes. And yeah, it's one of the things that just irritates me. People who think that they're kind of, I don't know, waving their massive VATSIM schlong around with all their knowledge of 2 years of controlling whatever, and they just want someone to, I don't know, be bigger than. But I just don't get
that.
That
leads it on quite nicely, actually.
Yeah.
To actually it does, because we had this week a streamer, Studio Canuck, was flying in Vatpack airspace. That's down in Australia and New Zealand. And he was told, and I quote here now, "I'm not sure how you guys do it in Canada or America. In the flight plan, you put the runway and the expected arrival. We don't normally do that. I do that from my end, so you don't need to do that to your end." So I thought it. Tom liked it on Twitter, which was the only reason I saw this. But this streamer has now vowed to keep out of Vatpack airspace and fly on PodCon as a result. Now, this is sort of I find this quite interesting because, dare I say, I think that's a complete overreaction. I think it is.
Well, I can understand. I think more context is needed before I give a full opinion on this, because if you've had a terrible experience after terrible experience, and I know people on VATSIM who have had lots of terrible experiences, I can totally understand why you'd give up on it. I have used products in the past, not flight simulated, and I've just been wow, this is a terrible product, even though my friends like it and stuff. For me, I'm wow, I'm just not enjoying this, so I'm just not going to waste my time with it. So I can understand it, but on one incident alone, it just I don't know, it feels like it might have been kind of the straw that broke the camel's back rather than
but I think it was the fact that the control
one kind of serious incident, because the incident itself didn't seem particularly
because I think it was
massive.
about the controllers said America or Canada. Yeah. And to be honest, it is something I would avoid doing because, dare I say it, a lot of time. So,
yeah, I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight.
Case in point,
I don't know
Q&H.
the full context of it.
Q&H is so. We have a lot of pilots from the States flying to Heathrow or Gatwick. They haven't used Q&H before. They use altimeter, Institute of Mercury. And a lot of them, when I say, and because we use that, we also have a different transition level. We transition quite low in the UK to flight levels. 6,000 feet, 5,000 feet or above, 6,000 feet at London. So I often end up with a case when we have quite a big pressure difference, we have aircraft 500 feet below because they don't understand that difference. Now, that is entirely largely due to American procedure, and it's because aircraft default to having the transition altitude of 18,000 feet. And it is something that you have to have a word about because ultimately you lose separation with your traffic. It's not like, I know people say it's a game, you don't care about separation, but like, separation is kind of a big thing on that to me. It's one of the things you sign up for. I do think perhaps, I don't think the country needs to be mentioned. But equally, I don't necessarily think we have to.
I've kind of lost
We
you, I'm
need to make
afraid.
sure that we do help out new pilots. Also, there is a dislike war going on. Tom? Right.
Hello?
What were you saying on it?
Hello?
Yeah, sorry.
Hello?
I went off a rant. Yeah, I
You
went
said
off
my
a rant
name.
there. I'm
I'm
sorry.
here.
What do you think of all of this?
What do I think
This
about
whole situation with the
what?
but yeah.
American pilots
Well,
not being
no,
able to use
just more general
QNH?
situation with controller in Australia.
I think gosh, what do I think? I think controllers have to be willing to help where they can, but pilots need to respect that controllers are doing a hard job, and at the end of the day, controllers are there to help pilots, and pilots are there to help controllers. So you got to have some respect for each other, because a controller would have zero fun without pilots, and a pilot would have close to zero fun without a controller. So it's just got to be a mutual respect thing there. And, you know, even if someone on the network is rude to you, you just have to not rise to it and just. I've learned over my time involved in some petty dramas that it's just not worth wasting your time with it, to be honest. And I guess that might be a reason to leave the network. You know, if you don't want to waste your time with it, then don't waste your time with it. But just try not to, you know, let it get too much.
What do you
basically
think about this? I know, sorry.
If you have, in my personal opinion, if you're having too much of a bad experience, for example, on VATSIM, try a different network. And the same, if you're on a different network and you're having bad experiences on there, then go to a different network. Find the one that fits you. I'm having a lot of fun right now on IVAO. I've never flown on it. I've had my account since 2015, and I never touched it with a barge pole up until recently. And I'm loving it. It's so much fun. I'm even like getting into controlling on there in these mids. Working on ground, and I'm going to work up to tower. That's as far as I want to go. What the best advice I can say to people is there are more networks out there.
Yeah, I'm really glad about that. Competition is always good, and I've keeping my eyes on POSCON. I actually reinstalled some of the client stuff, so I might be giving it another go at some point, because it looks quite interesting. I want to see if I can get into controlling on there, but it's still something I have to look into a bit more. But
yeah,
we'll see. It's still a long way to go for them. I think IVAO is not for me, having tried it, but I'm never going to say never. So they can still
it's
make improvements
fun,
that will push VATSIM to improve. So, you know,
absolutely,
that's
and
always a good
it's
thing.
competition and everything. You know, one competition, someone out, one network provides something, and the other networks kind of go, we can potentially do that, or maybe change it a bit and make it what we think could be better. So, and that's in every field, regardless of networks. That's on everything. So it's I just my one take out of all that is if you really are having a bad experience on the network, change network. There are plenty out there.
I think this is tempting me.
Yeah, and just take a break as well.
Network.
Like last night, I had a terrible experience streaming. I was just like, well, I was just having tech issues, and I was just so like angry and trying not to show it, basically. But it takes a lot just to log off if you're having a bad day and just take a breather. Get
Did you
some
have a
air.
nice session this
Absolutely.
morning?
Absolutely. I'm doing day on, day off works beautifully for me. It really does. Obviously, I'm taking a bit of an extended break at the moment due to the family issues, so to speak. But it's when I'm doing normal streaming hours, so to speak, day on, day off, I just it works so nicely. It really does.
By the way, guys, if you are in
Yeah.
chat and you have an opinion about this, I know if you're listening back on the podcast, you can't put anything, but please put in what you think. Like, we aren't going to complete. And for the record, I did let Tom speak. Anyway, but like, yeah. I think this is something a lot of people are going to feel passionately about because a lot of people really like flight sim, and we want the
You don't
best
say.
thing to happen. And a lot of us have very different. I think Tom, you were saying, unlike people do listen. Like Tom, you were saying before that you'd heard back from. Well, do you want to tell us about your cross the pond experience?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't very prepared to speak about this, but I'll say it now because I have a few people asking about this. Those you will know about me know I voice my opinions on the VATSIM Cross the Pond, and in particular the lottery system they're using to assign slots. And I guess I should let people know that I was very glad to be contacted by a member of the Cross the Pond planning team who was just it not as like official VATSIM contact, but just as someone to basically respond to what I said, and it sounded very positive. It was a very long message, so I don't have time to really go through it all on here, but it was positive, and a lot of things I mentioned in my video, if you've watched it, they said they were interested in, and well, he said he would be interested in and would take it forward with the appropriate planning teams, but not everything is possible. But basically, good relationship, and fingers crossed, basically.
I think.
So yeah, I'm if people want more details on that, I can make a post somewhere or talk about it on stream, and I'll be happy to talk about it.
Right, I think a lot of people have disliked the discussion, but like nobody's actually said anything about it. So I think we should probably move on. What did we say we were going to talk about next?
Yeah,
I think it was about scenery, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So last week, and I know this was something we were meant to discuss last week, but we ended up not discussing last week because my computer decided, I don't like you. I think it was Taxi to Gate to release the new. Yes, it was Taxi to Gate. Released an update.
Yeah. They released Charles de Gaulle, which was a £15 upgrade, if I'm remembering correctly. So £15 if you already had the old version, and still like a solid 30 plus euros if you don't have the old version, depending on where you live and your tax rate and stuff. And we're gonna say, how much should you be paying for essentially what is a very, very similar scenery with a lot of shared textures and assets, just with slightly shifted compatibility?
And it's not like you could not install the scenery into P3D 3.4, 3.5 before as well.
No, that is the great thing about P3D. An FSX scenery will literally work in P3D version 5 90% of the time. But it won't work 100% accurately, which is why developers love to charge a few quid to change them. But like it's still the same sort of system for doing it. So
I believe I did a bit more research into this after last week because I was like intrigued because like there must be a reason, because basically the original scenery was £30, euros, whatever your currency is. And then it was £15 for the upgrade. So that's without a sale, of course. But you sort of wonder how much is too much for an upgrade, because if you look at what they're offering in the scenery, they now have SO jetways, which is good, but you could get from any builds. They now have updated the FCAD, which is good. But like, they're charging 15 quid for basically redirecting the installer and changing a few textures.
One of the main reasons I don't touch P3D is because of the costs. I know it's a
Yeah.
meme, but let's take PMDG. I own the PMDG 777 and the 7.3 with all the extensions. When the last time I was on P3D was on version 3, and the latest PMDG update, I think they literally changed some of one of the bitmap files for, I think it was like a livery or something along those lines, and they charged for it. Where they literally just had to change a bit, just the tiniest bit of coding. And I it's just, it boggles my mind. It absolutely boggles my mind. And when version 4 came out for P3D, and then I was like, well, now I need to buy all these upgrades.
Everything was re-released for
that was the
P4.
final straw for me, because exactly. And it just, I was like, I've already, if the products were like 20, 30 quid at a push, then I'd be like, okay, if they've added quite a bit or whatever, fair enough. But it's not. It's just to make it work in the new bloody thing. And I'm like, no, I already own it. Why do I have to now pay again for something I already own? That's equivalent of buying a TV, and if you want to change the channel, you have to buy a bloody upgrade. No, stuff up your ass. It's just I couldn't be doing it anymore, and it's the main reason why I migrated to X-Plane. It was literally the main reason. And I see
a lot of people starting off on X-Plane now, because it's just so much more attractive as a new user. Like, you look at P3D, like, people come into my chat and they're like, oh, is this Microsoft Flight Sim? And I'm like, oh, I wish, man. Like, unfortunately, it's Allbex Global Land Class. You got to get the PMD or the FS Labs A320. You got to get the A319 expansion off that. Don't forget to buy Rex, Active Sky Cloud Art, all this stuff. And they're like, I think I'll pass. So it's just dumb. It's just stupid at this point.
It's the same as on X-Plane. Yes, when you first get into it, it's going to be costly, but the amount of freeware
certainly not as costly as P3D. Thank God.
Oh God, no. But another great thing about I found with X-Plane is it took me back. It really did. Like, when I was getting into it, and I'm like, oh wait, everything just goes in this plugin folder. Pretty much, literally 90% of the stuff just goes into this plugin folder. That's it. Do I need to do anything else? No, that's it. You just load the sim.
I think.
Okay, I like this. As you guys know, trying to install some add-ons for P3D, you need a degree.
Literally. And like, it's just one of those things. Like, I have a friend of mine is extremely knowledgeable in P3D, one of my mods, Sam, and literally, I don't like berating people to give me support, but if there's a problem that I have with my P3D, like, it's like so impossible to fix it that like you have to go trawling through the manuals of these like 2002 written documents, and like everything is so old, and I have to go to Sam, and Sam like helps me fix my stuff, and I don't know how he knows all this stuff, but it's just so unuser friendly, some of the stuff, but God, the result is worth it. So that's why we do it, I guess.
I'm not gonna bash P3D for its sim itself, so to speak. I had hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of fun in P3D, but it's just. But if you want 100 hours of fun in P3D, you need to spend, I'm not even joking, 50 plus hours just to get it to bloody work. And it's.
I think I've been really lucky, Dan.
I'll put it bluntly.
I think I've been really lucky.
Why, you're 150 hours plus?
Yeah, I've been really lucky because I was.
Oh, right. No,
everything seemed to sort of work for me.
No, it's my luck was with X-Plane. My X-Plane just, it runs beautifully, and it's.
I mean,
and that's another thing as well. The flight models. People say that there's more realistic. Yes, there's more realistic planes in P3D. Yes, okay, granted, but people don't realize or understand sometimes is that in FSX, P3D, and Microsoft Flight Sim, all the flight dynamics of the aircraft are done by spreadsheets, where in X-Plane it's a whole different ballgame. You add a different wing to it or change the parameters or something, then it actually changes the way it flies based on that. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's crazy. It's so insane. And that's why it's such a big handling difference when you fly in X-Plane compared to P3D, because it's not run by a spreadsheet, not run by literally, I'm not even joking, an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah,
I think I will say, to Lockheed Martin's credit, they are actually moving it so it is easier to move add-ons around with the P3D add-on system they've introduced in V4. Like, it's no longer a complete pain. Like, you can now just drag and drop stuff into folders and it will run based on the add-on XML. But sort of taking it back to the crux of the discussion,
Oh, okay.
I know Steam Market has a fee to recreate an installer. I know TaxUserGate does use the Steam Market installer. So, to that extent, it is understandable why they probably should charge something for the update. And they have added stuff. Like, it's not insignificant. But when you're buying half the cost of a new scenery, and you're not getting half a new scenery, you're literally just getting a few change files and the reinstallation directory moved. It gets to the point, how much is too much? And we're never going to reach a consensus on the price.
Well, it's too much. I haven't done it, so
I'm just going to keep using the AnyBuild.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I have some Just Sim sceneries that I haven't updated to V5. Like, I had the V4 version of Luxembourg. I got it for €5 or €6 when they were doing one of their lockdown sales, and it was a V4 version. And just a few weeks later, V5 came out, and they said it wasn't compatible. But I put it in. It works fine.
Just give the updates.
I don't know
free.
why I should be paying for the upgrade. Like, It literally works.
Right. Should we get quick bits out of the way? And then Tom has got some news for us all. So there isn't really that much that's happened this week, is there? No. So we've had the Rex. You haven't already heard, Rex is still updating their servers. They said it would be from the 27th of April to the 2nd of May at midnight this morning. Sadly, it's been delayed a bit longer. So that means you may not be able to use your weather data, community data, product registration, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think the main thing is if you are using the Rex weather engine, you will not be able to get live weather at the moment. But other than that, if you've already got the product installed, you should not have any issues with like Rex Skyforce. You're only going to face issues with getting live weather, community stuff, and activating the products.
And then finally, the Magnite 787 has received an update this week. And it's been quite a significant update for the Magnite, I must say. I'm just trying to find my stuff on it because it's disappeared. Me and Tom have had exams this week. Tom has been revising, I've had them. So we've not been as prepared as we'd like.
Well, to say Tom has been revising is generous, but yeah, I won't. Yeah. Let's say
I've
that.
been revising. I've been trying to revise and everything else along the way. Anyway, so the 787 from Magnite, improved fuel system, new checklist, en route CPDLC. I really can't wait for that to become a standard feature across everything, really. It's going to be...
Well, it's going to be certainly helping controllers when you don't have to repeat things again and again and, rather than having to, I don't know, just take some of the effort out of controlling, I guess. If you want to fly with ATC, but also just not talk to them, just kind of use text-based ATC, which I can kind of understand. The option is there, basically. So, yeah.
And finally, last but not least, Tom, take it away.
Is this the very end of the show?
There literally nothing happened this week.
Okay. Well, what episode are we on, Alex? Episode 8. Okay. So, Alex, probably about 9 weeks ago, sent me a very nice message inviting me to do this podcast, and it was his idea, and I think it was a fantastic idea, and it's always been something that I wanted to do. And I've really, really enjoyed doing the 8 episodes, and I think talking to so many different people has been a great experience to kind of see where everyone's at and kind of meet new people, because like there's not a chance in the world I would have spoken to some of the people I've spoken to on this show if I hadn't done this show. But I felt that I am not a podcaster at heart, basically. I really like talking to people, but I am going to stick to the live content genre basically, and I'll be sticking with streaming and heading from next Sunday back to streaming. So unfortunately, that means for the podcast, maybe unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I won't be here next week and for the future, but I'll still be around, and
Oh no.
there will be the podcast will go on with Alex.
There is a new
and
presenter. There is a new presenter.
mystery presenter to TBC. But yeah, I will from next week be streaming and not be here. But I've still, like I said, enjoyed it a lot. Just don't think it's a perfect fit for me, basically.
Tom, thank you so much. I remember when the only reason we did this podcast is because I bought this. Literally, that's the only reason why we did this originally. And it's been great having you on, Ray. Thank you for helping me get it started. I think Motor said, because right when we started off.
No, absolutely. I should be sending the thanks to you, because Alex is the person who set up all the graphics and servers and does all the streaming stuff, and I just rock up on a Sunday evening and read through the schedule and like, yeah, I think that's about right. Alex puts a hell of a lot of work into it, so I owe you basically. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, thank you, Tom. I'm getting a bit emotional now. It's like,
Don't cry.
It's been very fun having you on. We've done a lot. Like, honestly, my confidence is just like when we started this, and I said to you we were interviewing Fly by Wire, I was practically going insane with myself. I was like, why have I done this?
I know, that was crazy. Like, I would never have got the opportunity to speak in person on a voice call with those guys ever, and that was. I will be honest.
I was planning to make you a best bits compilation, and then I got had to revise.
Are there enough?
There are
best
actually.
bits?
There are some very good bits. But there is a new presenter joining next week. We're going to have a bit. It's like we've lost our own Piers Morgan, except he's not controversial at all. He's just.
Wow.
I mean, that could be argued. I don't know.
He's just. And I just realised I'm looking the wrong way as well.
Depends who you ask. Depends who you ask. Yeah, Alex. Yeah, good stuff.
But yeah, next week we've got Mitch Aviator on. Well, I've got Mitch and the mystery presenter. I will just say right now, thank you for all the support to the YouTube channel as well. We are now 2 away from 1,000, which is really insane. And honestly, thank you so much for the support. It's been an interesting episode. A lot of people disagreed with me on what I said about Vaxing, but not a lot of people said why. So if you have any question about that, we now have the Flights and Weekly subreddit. I'm going to post something about that. I'm going to briefly summarise my views on it, because I feel I need to have a bit of discussion about that, because I fly and control, and I see both sides, and I'm like, yeah, I need to get that out of the system. But
well, that's the great thing about the internet, is everyone's entitled to their opinion.
It's interesting, isn't it? Tom, are you going to go on Liverpool?
Because it opens up a nice debate. As long as
Sorry.
As long as people, I was about to say, as long as people keep it to a debate, then it's a healthy thing. It is.
Tom, are you about to jump on Liverpool radar? I'm just going to ask you right now. Right.
Possibly.
Well,
maybe not right now, but maybe
later this evening. Then, if you're watching live, come and fly between Heathrow and Liverpool, and I'm going to look on Heathrow Director and give Tom some traffic, because he's on his solo validation. He's learning what to do. He needs to put a session request in so he can be picked up.
I do, actually.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching this week, guys. Thank you so much for Moto for joining us. Can he wave with? Can he wave with the tail wag?
Tail wag as well.
Wag. Yeah.
Honestly, it's amazing. I'm not going to be streaming that thing tonight. Tom might not. I don't know what he's going to do, but
got Kenko F1. When that's over, then
yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.
Thanks for having me, guys. Much love, and Tom, thank you for
letting this weird doggo be your last little interview. Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure.